Hey, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. It is Thursday, so that means it's time for Thursday Thoughts. I'm Jerry Fetta, the owner, founder, and CEO of the Wealth Dynamics brand, coming to you every Thursday with my thoughts. So here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, the U.S. default rate that's happening, the fact that we might not pay our debt. I want to talk about, homeowners with good credit being penalized with higher interest rates. I want to talk about the fact that we might be going to war and all this different stuff. I want to talk about that. And I know I talked about this with the news before, but I want to get into some specifics, right? Because I did a few calls with clients and it keeps coming up and I'm like, okay, good. I want to address this. Okay, I want to address not the generality of the news is negative, some of these specific points, and handle you, the person watching, on what do you do about it, right? What are you going to do about it? Because if you know it, cool. But knowledge, if it slows you down, isn't good knowledge, right? Now, if you stay to the end of the video today, I'm going to give you a free link for what's called a wealth potential analysis, right? So you got to stay to the end. I'll put that in the end of the video as a reward for watching. Until then, let's jump into our content. All right, guys, so I want to do this video because I did a call yesterday actually, with a client, and he's got money, he's ready to invest. He's ready to invest in real estate. He's ready to earn passive income. He's got enough where he can do 4 homes, right? 4 homes is about $2,000, a little more than that every month, maybe $2,200 a month in passive income that's secured by actual real estate. This is not a fund. This is not someone else's business model where you stick money in and hopefully they make good ethical choices. No, you buy a property, someone lives in the property, they make a mortgage payment to you, and if they don't, you take away the house. If they keep paying, they get the benefit of home ownership. They get sweat equity. They get appreciation. They get to refinance later. They get to sell. They get their life changed. And you make a 12 to 14% yield while you do it. That's the deal, right? So I'm talking to him about this, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm interested. I looked at it, but I've got some concerns. And I was like, okay, good. Let's talk about the concerns. Now, here's my thought on concerns. Concerns are valid as long as you're willing to solve them. Concerns that you're not willing to solve aren't concerns. Those are called handicaps. Those are the things that make you lose in life. Those are your pets. You keep them there because you like them and it justifies you not taking action, right? So I always listen when I'm talking to someone is like, do they have a concern or do they have a pet handicap where they're like, this is my little pet of indecisiveness. And because I'm indecisive, I need a reason because I can't admit that I'm indecisive because then I would be thinking less of myself and I can't do that. So I need to keep the indecisiveness there, but to pretend it's valid, make a big deal out of it and be very technical and very concerned just so that I don't have to do anything because I want to avoid action in my life. That's what's really happening, right? But in this case, I looked, I was like, okay, what's happening here? Is this guy indecisive or does he have a real concern? In this case, he had a real concern. It was based on false information, okay? So the first thing he brought up, he's like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this real estate investment thing because, it involves debt. Right? It involves debt, and I'm looking at what's happening right now. The U.S. is about to default on our debt. Homeowners are being penalized for borrowing. Look at what happened in 2008. And so I had to stop him and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this is you being the bank. So there's a difference between me borrowing money from a bank, then I'm in debt to the bank, versus me being the bank. If I'm the one that, and I'm not even loaning money out, that was his other concern that he then brought up. He's like, well, I don't know if I want to loan my money out to someone. What if they're not even, solvent? They can't pay me back. And I told him, I was like, sir, you're not loaning your money out. Okay, you're buying a property. Okay, you own the property. Here's the property, this coconut water. That's the house. You own the house. Your name is on the title. Now, it's held in a trust for privacy and, keeping your asset protected, but that's your property. And so someone else is going to go live there. They're going to make a small down payment to you. They're going to live in this property, right? So there's no loaning money to anyone. You paid cash for a property. Boom, there you go. This guy lives there. He pays you a mortgage payment every month for the next 20 years, right? That's different than me borrowing money from the bank to then go buy a rental property. That's not the same thing, right? Now, not to say that that's a bad model because I believe in that model too, but for this guy in particular, he's like, I don't want to be involved with banks. And I was like, dude, I get it. Right? So don't be involved with banks, become the bank. Okay, now he said he didn't want to be involved in banks, and that's fine, but my next question to him was, okay, well, where are you keeping your savings right now? And he's like, well, because I don't like banks, I put it in a credit union. And I told him, I was like, okay, that's good. A credit union is member owned. That's the main difference between it and a bank, right? So at least, you have ownership in the Ponzi scheme that's happening to you. It's better than you not having. It's like, you got beat up by your brother versus a stranger in the alley. At least you knew the guy who did it, right? So I get that. That's a good thing. You're still getting beat up in an alley though, whether it was your brother or a stranger, right? So you're still having your deposits borrowed against by the credit union. You're still having them loan that out to other people. You're still having them pay you little to no interest while they put your money at risk. You're still not really covered by the FDIC insurance, even though they say that you are. And they're still making profits on what they're doing to you. And sure, they might pay you a little piece of that, but you're not getting much. They're still making 400 to 1,300% on your deposits and paying you, in this case, he had a long-term CD, they were paying him 4%. So I was like, great. So they're paying you 4%. They're going to make 400 to 1,300% on your money. Who wins there, right? So I like to point out with concerns, here's a concern, right? Let's use Aquafina over here, not the wrapper, the water bottle, okay? And then here's something that I'm doing to myself that's worse than the concern. It's like saying, I don't want to go to the gym because I might get injured, but I'm sitting there eating cheeseburgers and I'm borderline on diabetes. Okay, you're already injuring yourself. Okay, I don't want to do real estate because I'm afraid of maybe losing my money and putting at risk, yet I'm going to give an unsecured loan to a financial institution so they can borrow against 98 to 100% of my dollars, risk it out, loan it out to other people, and then potentially not even pay me back and not even have the insurance to cover it. They're not even trying to pay the insurance premiums, right? That's already a risk. So what's the lesser of two evils? Like, which one is it going to be, right? So we handled that concern. Now, the other thing that came up is he was like, okay, well, they're penalizing homeowners, right? They're penalizing people with a good credit score. Those that have a good credit score are going to pay higher interest on mortgages. And so I was like, okay, great. But again, we're not borrowing money. Okay, like guys, you have to take the noise that's happening around you and be able to siphon through in your life what actually applies to me. When someone is like, Russia's bombing Ukraine, my first question is, do I live in Ukraine? You think, no, I don't live in Ukraine. Okay, I'm probably okay. I'm going to be fine, right? I don't need to think about this every day. Can I go to Ukraine and help? Nope, I can't do that either. That's not an option. Okay, so why even think about it? I can't do anything about it. I can't help. Can I create awareness? Sure. So let's do that. But otherwise, the other 23 and a half hours of my life, I need to make sure that I do something productive. Okay, and so instead of like, this bad thing's happening that doesn't relate to me at all, right? So he's saying, my credit score's high. If I were to go borrow money from a bank for a mortgage right now, they might charge me higher interest and penalize me for having a higher credit score. Good. Are you doing that? Are you borrowing money from a bank for a mortgage right now? Okay, no, you're not. Good. So does this really apply to you? No, it doesn't. We don't need to think about that, right? Like, we have to look at, like, where are we trying to go? What's the goal in your life with your finances, and what information helps you get there? This is the simplest, most basic thing. If it doesn't help you get there, it's not your information, right? It doesn't achieve anything for you. And if it slows you down, it's your anti-information. You should be not only not paying attention to it, you should be running from it. Anything that makes you earn less income, save less money, invest less, earn less passive income, pay more in taxes, get more in consumer debt, not study finances, anything that makes you do those things is bad. It's your enemy. It's your liability. You don't want it. Not only do you need to avoid it, you need to run away from it. So if you see it, don't reach for it, but also go the other direction. So watching the news and hearing about what if the US defaults. Okay, guys, that isn't anything that's going to help you. It's not going to help you earn more income to think about that. It's not going to help you save more money to think about that. It's not going to help your investments to think about that. I'm in the same boat you are. Guess how much attention I've put on it? Zero, because I know it's bullshit. I know it's not real. That's the first thing, is like, don't be so gullible. We've all heard the story about the kid that runs around screaming wolf. Like, that's what politicians in the news do. They scream wolf and cry wolf, and the sky is falling down every single day of every single year since you've been able to watch the news. Guess what? We're still here. You're still alive. The planet's still expanding. Humanity's still doing better. We're still creating great inventions, expanding businesses, improving conditions around us, regardless of all of these things. So at the end of this, like, all the stuff, the interest rates and the default and the wars and that, like, can that help you with your finances? And if it can't, ignore it. Okay? What can you control? Like, that's the thing I want you to look at. What can you control? Right now, are you even controlling your money? If your money is in a bank, you're not in control of your money. So that's the first thing you can start to control. right? Now, if you can't control that yet, then you need to control the information you consume, right? You can spend 2 hours learning about why we're heading into a recession and why you should put all your money in Bitcoin and why we're going to go to war and why this and why the presidential election that. And I'm going to spend the same 2 hours learning about how to become my own bank. And in 10 years, our lives are going to look very different because that's the information I got and operated with, and that's the information you got and operated with. Right? So if you're watching this, I want to challenge you, turn off the negativity, turn off all the nonsense, and focus on what you can control with your finances and improve that. Okay? Because the results you have in your life come from what you consume. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up on this note, guys. Now, I did say at the end of the video, if you stayed and watched all the way through, I would give you access to a free wealth potential analysis. So if you click down in the comments and you type in wealth potential analysis, we're going to give you a free one. It's 100 questions. It's going to measure your finances against 100 different wealth determining factors based on the historical top 1%. It's going to give you a graph showing you where you're doing well, where you're deficient, and then my team will do a free consultation with you so that we can walk you through what to do to start improving your finances. So check that out. Click that in the comments. Again, type in wealth potential analysis. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.